Deleted Peppa Pig episode, Peppa Pig and the Night Vampire, which was never showed on TV. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to see more interesting videos. One foggy autumn night, Peppa woke up to a strange sound outside the window. It wasn't just the wind. She heard a quiet whisper, as if someone was calling her name. Pe-ipa, Pe-ipa. Peppa got out of bed and walked to the window. At the edge of the garden stood a tall shadow with long arms and glowing eyes. The eyes were red. It was the night vampire, an ancient legend Grandma had once told her about. He came for those who misbehaved and didn't brush their teeth before bed. The next morning, Peppa told Mummy and Daddy everything, but they just laughed. However, that night, it happened again. The whisper was louder, and the shadow came closer. Now the vampire was right outside the window, his claws scratching at the glass. Peppa hid under her blanket and heard a creak. The door opened on its own. From the darkness, George stepped into the room, but his eyes were red too. "Welcome to the club, sister," he whispered. "Now you'll become one of us." The next morning, the family looked as usual. They smiled, they drank tea, but their eyes were slightly red, and for breakfast, they weren't eating porridge. They were eating bones. Since then, if you ever hear a whisper in the night, Pe-ipa, know this. The vampire pigs are on the hunt. Deleted Peppa Pig episode, Voices on the Walkie-Talkie, which was never showed on TV. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to see more interesting videos. Daddy Pig gave Peppa and George walkie-talkies so they could talk to each other while playing hide-and-seek. "Just don't use them at night," Mummy Pig said sternly. "Walkie-talkies can pick up strange signals." Everything was fun until one evening, right before bed, Peppa turned on her walkie-talkie. Suddenly, a strange, crackling voice came through the speaker. "Pe-ipa, you're not alone." "George, is that you?" Peppa asked. Silence. Then again, "I'm hiding. In the closet. Find me." Peppa walked over to the closet and slowly opened the door. It was empty. "Very funny, George," she muttered. But the second walkie-talkie was still lying next to George's bed. He was sound asleep. The next morning, the voice came through the walkie-talkie again. "Found one. Now you." George was gone. That night, the static returned. "Only you left. I'm coming." Deleted Peppa Pig episode, Madame Gazelle's Virus, which was never showed on TV. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to see more interesting videos. One day at kindergarten, Madame Gazelle came in very pale and silent. She didn't smile, didn't sing, didn't tell stories. Instead, she just stood and stared at the children without blinking. "Madame Gazelle, are you okay?" Peppa asked. The teacher didn't respond. She only whispered softly, "You will become like me too." The next day, George started coughing. His skin turned gray and he began walking strangely, slowly, dragging his feet. Daddy Pig said it was just a cold. But soon, Mummy Pig got sick too. Then Susie, then Daddy. The eyes of the infected turned cloudy. They stopped talking. They only whispered, "The virus is inside. It's hungry." Peppa hid under the bed and kept a diary. On the last day, her entries looked like this. "Mummy bit Daddy. George is knocking at the door. I don't want to open it." The final entry was written at 3:47 a.m. They're inside. Since then, Peppa Pig's house has stood empty. But But sometimes if you go near the window, you can still hear P-E-Pa-A. Join us.